Hello and welcome to, I should do my spooky voice. Welcome to Mentorship Mondays, right before Halloween. God, could I get any weirder? That's what I'd like to say. Could I get any
Love
weirder?
it. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, you can,
Yes.
and we would not mind. Um,
I should I should say thank you for being here, everybody. This is Michelle and this is Maren, and we're here with Mentorship Mondays, and we're gonna talk about some spooky stuff. And Maren has some stories that I have not heard, and so yeah, we're here to celebrate a I say spiritual week because I always feel magical around this time. You know, ever since I was a kid. And speaking of kids, Maren. Okay, so we were talking. I think it was the last episode, and you were feeling that poke in the butt. Remember?
Stop
My
even saying that because right before you said speaking of kids, and I just felt the poke in the butt, and I was like, okay, Julie's here.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, so last night I was cleaning up my desk and I was putting away like cards and things like that I had out, and my one deck of cards that I love, and it's just like the one word, it's the ones that I use a lot, the sacred geometry on it. And oh, look, it's manifestation, which is exactly what I'm going to talk about. So, anyway, the synchronicities are crazy. um, so anyway, I look and there's like these cards sitting where the deck was, and they were gone. And Maya and I were like looking everywhere for them, under the desk, around the desk. But I'm like, where did they go? Like I had them here. Where did they go? I never carry them away. There's nobody here to take them. And Maya said, well, Mom, you know how it is. She goes, I just do what I always do, which is if it's not here, it'll show up. It'll show up. And I'm like, well, yes, it always does. So, of course, it kind of stuck in the back of my head because I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Like, what's going on? So I forgot about it. And then this morning, because we pre record this, so this morning I come down and I'm thinking, all right, where is that deck? Who took it? And Maren, you and I get on, and I'm like telling you that I've lost this deck. I don't know where it is. I don't know why it bugs me so much, but I can't find it. So just as we're getting started, okay, I have my Palo Santo going, and I have it kept all in this little drawer right in front of me on my desk. It's not a big, deep, like junk drawer. It has my incense, dowsing rods. Like I can see the bottom of the drawer. It's not, I just opened it now. Okay. And there is the deck sitting right on top of my Palo Santo. So it was moved from my
Oh
desk
my,
on top into the
oh my
drawer. And
God.
I know I didn't do it. And so I asked who it was. And it's Julie. It's Julie.
Oh my God.
The
She
poke.
set this all up. And let me tell you why. Because as soon as she said, I lost my deck. I literally was going to say, well, sometimes when you lose something, you lose it for a reason. And when you find it, there's a reason or whatever, because that's what you said to me. Those were the famous last words you said to me before I found my grandmother's necklace. And when you were just like saying everything that you said, I was like, oh my God, this is to show me that the story I'm about to tell you is real. And I'm freaking out. I'm
Yeah.
freaking out
Well, and to tell you
because
too,
my story involves manifestation. It involves once you sage or cleanse, things manifest. It involves the spooky woman, not Julie. Oh
oh
my
my gosh,
gosh.
she just gave me a visual. I'll say this real quick.
Okay.
Julie and I, from the time that we were school age, did trick or treating together. Like we grew up right up into high school. We had a routine. We knew where to go. It was like a big deal for the two of us to go together. And we had always had a good laugh. We had a lot of stories and things. but she just gave me this visual because her and I used to do this thing with our hands. So when you said spooky woman, not Julie, she, this is like one of those inside jokes, but she could take her fingers. We could both like, we're double jointed. So
Yes.
she just,
Like the witch fingers. Yes.
she just went, ah. That's the way. I love her. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, then maybe I'm just going to pray that this was her just being silly, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
So, literally, okay, I told this story to you a while ago, and you were like,
Yeah.
this sounds amazing. This is a crazy story. You have to do it on like a Halloween episode. So we have
Yeah.
saved this story for a Halloween episode. And
Yeah.
since then, I've been like, no, like there's no way something like that would happen. Like it's just, you know, I'm not gonna say my imagination because nothing I imagined, but like things manifesting. I was like, it was always there, whatever. And like the fact that those cards just manifested literally is the validation that the story
And
I'm about to tell, that this thing actually manifested.
well, not only that, but the card that I pulled out to say I only had a few, and it's the manifestation card. Like, come on. Like, this is real time craziness and synchronicity. Seriously.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So I literally have goosebumps. I literally have PTSD from this experience. Like,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Um, it all started one day when my son was invited to a soccer tournament out of state. And I was very excited
Mm-hmm.
because I thought my husband, so this is what I thought. So we got invited to this soccer tournament, and it was like not in the original like agreed upon, like you pay this much for soccer and
Yeah.
we do these things. The coach was like, "Hey, we got this opportunity to play in this soccer tournament, and it's free for the players to play. You just have to pay for your hotel." And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, my husband travels all the time, so we have hotel points."
Yeah.
So I was like, it's free for us because I got my
Yeah.
hotel points at our favorite hotel chain, and like
Yeah.
we're just gonna roll up. It's free, so exciting. So, um, so anyways, um, and he was like the first, however many kids get to play and that respond to this email get to play. So it's like, we're in, we want to play. So, then comes to find out that you have to actually, this is my son's first year of travel soccer. So I know nothing. I'm so green when it comes to all the rules and expectations and what you're supposed to do. And so it was a big learning curve for me. But apparently the team all stays at the same hotel together that the coach picks out. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, so the coach picked out and the through this tournament, it had to be an approved hotel
Uh-huh.
for the tournament. So there was kind of like a very limited number of hotels. Anyways, so this hotel did not get very good ratings, reviews, stars. It was not the greatest hotel. Just start with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were only staying one night. So he had 2 games the first day, 1 game the second day. And the first game was like really early. So we just drove there, played the game. And then after the game, we went to the hotel to check in. We had some time to hang out at the hotel and wait. And then we had our second game. And so when we got to the hotel, I mean, it was like, we stayed on the third floor. It was only 3 floors. We were on the third floor. And they were like, just so you know, our elevator's broken. And like, are you okay carrying your luggage up the stairs? Like it was that kind of deal. And we're like, yeah, that's fine. And then we knew the hotel had a pool. So we're like, okay, well, while the room's getting ready, we'll go in the pool and hang out at the pool and let the kids, play. So we go to the pool. It was so cloudy, disgusting.
Oh.
One of the kids brought goggles, and he was like, "My goggles don't work."
Oh.
Cloudy, like you couldn't see. And so the kids like probably played in the pool for 10 minutes and then they were kind of like grossed out by it and they ended up just playing like in the pool area. They were like playing
Yeah.
tag and in the pool area and stuff. So I mean, this was not a, a
Yeah.
nice hotel. And
Right.
then there was even like, sorry, side note, there was even this guy and he came to like take that worked for the hotel and he took like, a pool sample of the hotel. And I was kind of like, would he fix it in front of us if it was off? Or is like, like how off is it and how honest is he being right now about the cloudiness of this
Yeah.
pool?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Anyways, so we finally get into the room and it's like furniture from 1970s. The bed was nice and white. It had white sheets, which was really nice, but like the carpet was like green and stained
Mm.
and like matted.
Mhm.
And the furniture was like old and wooden. And the couch looked like it was from the 70s. And um, it had like a living room in the front and then then the bathroom area and then the bed
Mhm.
area and um it just you like walked in and it just like hit you like a wall, like the smell of like old smoke, like
Mhm.
and then like the deodorizers and like it's like you could tell it had previously been a smoking room or a room you could smoke in and it's like just in all the walls and the fabric
Yeah.
and the carpet and everything but
Mhm.
no one smoked in there for a while. It wasn't like I don't think
Yeah.
the people right before us smoked it's
Yeah.
just settled in
That
that room.
heavy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The odor.
um the odor, yes, and it was just like so I mean it's just we're not doing well here at this so far at this hotel. um Anyways, and then so we get in and we have like 2 hours before we need to leave. So um my son and I, and my husband had my other son had things. So my husband and my other son stayed home and I was the
Mhm.
one because all the moms went. So it was like the
Mhm.
moms decided to travel. So I
Mhm.
went with my son. So anyways, so he gets on his iPad and he's watching his iPad and then I turn on the TV and I'm watching, shows or whatever
Mhm.
and everything's fine and we're just kind of like, sitting on the what seems to be a clean bed and
Mhm.
all is fine. And then he gets a call from another friend to go play iPads in their hotel room.
Yeah.
So I was like, sure, let's go. So I go to turn off the TV and the TV won't turn off. And I'm like clicking the clicker button and I'm like, why won't this TV turn off? This is like really weird. Like the clicker's not working anymore. And but I was like, okay, whatever. Like I just got to get you to this friend's room. So we leave, drop him off at the friend's hotel room. I come back, my key won't work anymore. It's like completely won't work. So I have to go down to the front office, tell them my key doesn't work, go back
Mhm.
up, get in the room, trying to figure out the clicker again. I can't figure out the clicker. I had to unplug the TV. There was no buttons around the TV. I'd unplug the TV, plug it back in to get it to shut off. And all is well. And I just kind of like lay in bed and just relax because, it was a early morning, long drive. And of course, I'm feeling spirits, and I'm just like, whatever. They don't particularly feel bad or good. They just feel very
Yeah.
neutral that they're there. And I just kind of ignore it. And then we go to get ready to go to the second game. And I'm at the second game and I can like smell the smoke on me. Like it's like in my clothes and on my skin. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like that bad. So after the second game, we go to dinner. And after dinner, I'm like, I have got to stop and get um some like room spray or something. Like I've got to deal with that smell. It is
Mhm.
so smelly.
Mhm.
And and plus I'm like, and then the spirits and like after my last hotel experience, it's like, I just want to be able to sleep through the night, So I like go to Walgreens and I'm checking all the room sprays to see which one has like actual lavender oil because lavender is a protection
Yeah.
oil.
Yeah.
So I'm like, which one has real lavender oil? So I found one that had like true lavender oil.
Yeah.
And I go back to the hotel room and I'm there with my son and I'm like literally spraying every now at this point this is like we've had a game, we've had dinner. This is like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Okay. I'm spraying each like the entire perimeter of the room. And I'm saying, this is a room of love and light, and only those that come from the light may be here. Angels
Mhm.
protect us. This is the room, like just over and over and over again, like giving it
Mhm.
nice and clean and clear.
Yeah.
I get to the bed, okay, or the bedroom area. And I'm like, huh, that's interesting. And I've been telling Quint, so this is the thing. Kids, they like take something off and it just like falls right where they like dropped it. And like
Yeah.
this is green matted carpet that you can see the stains in. Like I was like literally wearing my shoes until I got to the bed and then I'd like hop out. And so
Yeah.
like he would drop something and I'd be like, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Like we don't, pick it up, put it on like this chair or like put it on in your bag or whatever. Like I didn't want him to like drop things on the dirty carpet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe like a little OCD, I don't know. But anyways, so so I was like, oh, well, I didn't see that he dropped a string. What, why would why would he have a string? What did he drop? And I look, and this is like when you walk into the bedroom, every time I walked to this bed, because I was the only place I felt safe, like sitting. I've walked to this bed like at least 20 times since I've been at this hotel room. Okay. And every time I did not see this string. And so I was like, why did he just drop this string? So I bend down to pick up the string or to see what it was that he dropped. It was a bloody tampon. Full on. I mean, the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay. I
Oh
freaked
gosh.
out. I freaked out. Okay. I left as fast as I could. I was like, we're leaving. Okay. As fast as I could. And if it was appropriate to show you, I would show you for like dramatic effect. It was that disgusting. Okay. And I took a picture because I had to go downstairs. So I literally like took the picture.
We could make a movie out of
Yes.
okay.
Hotel room from hell is what
Yeah.
this is going to be. Okay.
Yeah.
So I go down to it's like a small hotel again. So like there's only one person that works for the hotel on duty. And I go down to him at the front desk and I said, sir, said, when I first got to my hotel room, the smell was really bad, but I was okay with it. I know you guys are sold out. I know, like, I didn't want to be a problem. So I went to Walgreens and I bought some room spray. I was doing really good. I was spraying my room. But as I was spraying my room, I saw this and I was like, we showed him the photo. And he's, oh my God. Like he jumped and startled. He couldn't, like, he was like, oh my God. Oh. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, um, what did he say? Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I'll just, reduce your room rate. And I just looked at him like, I cannot stay in this room. Are you kidding? Like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is like disgusting. And if this was not cleaned, what else was not cleaned? Like, if this was not found, like, it was so disgusting. But there was this humongous soccer tournament. Every hotel
Yeah.
room in the little, like, there's like a circle of hotels sold out. Like sold out. He said he would refund my hotel if I could find another hotel. There was no other hotel.
Yeah. Give him a choice.
So yeah. So I had no choice. And I called my husband And of course, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, like, is this a spirit thing? Is like, why did this just appear? Like, I've been in this hotel room the entire day. Why did this just suddenly appear right now as I'm cleansing the room? I'm literally
Uh,
cleansing the room. And
uh-huh.
this shows up. And anyways, he's like, I don't know. Like, and so we looked, we couldn't find anything. And so I had to like go back to him. I was like, oh my gosh, sir, like there's nothing in town. I've got to take this hotel room. And like, so I was like, can you clean this up? Do you have like really good disinfectant spray? He's like, oh yeah, we've got the best. And I was like, okay. And so anyways, so he go, and I was like, also while you're up there, my remote doesn't work. I can't turn my TV on. And he's like, okay. And so he gets, I don't know, I think he got some batteries or like the chart, he got, or another remote or a master remote or something like that.
Yeah.
And, the disinfectant spray. And he was like, he was working himself up. Like, he's like, working himself up to clean up the room, you
Best
know?
is best is they were oh God, oh.
Oh, and he goes, oh, wait a minute, this is later. Okay. So anyways, and then he's like, you can go on up there. You can go, I'll be there in a minute. You just go on up there. And I was like, I'm not going, I don't want to be alone in that room with that tampon. I'll wait for you. So anyways, so we, so we get up there and he's like, now where is it? And he bends down to like thinking it's gonna be like really far under there. And it's like, no, it is right at the edge of the bed. Like the string is out of the bed and it is right. Like, how did I not see this those times before?
Yeah.
Anyways, so he's like very prepared to like look deep and it's like right in front of his face. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, that picture didn't do this any justice. So I was like, no, I didn't. It's bad. It's bad. So, anyways, so he, gets it, sprays everywhere. And then I'm like, okay, can you, look at my remote? And he looks and he goes, oh, there's no batteries in it. He goes, you just got to put some batteries. We just somehow batteries, like somebody didn't put batteries in it. It just needs new batteries. Literally, because I was holding it and I was like, man, this feels really light. Like they must charge it or something. And it was missing its batteries. So how in the world was I able to turn it on and watch TV? And like I was fully awake. I checked the bed. There were no because after he said that, it's like, did the batteries fall out? I checked the bed. There's no batteries, like random batteries lying around
Mm-hmm.
on the bed that randomly fell out. So like literally the batteries disappeared on me and a tampon appeared on me in this hotel room. Okay. And so I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. Let me just say, I'm freaking out. Right. And I
Mm.
have to stay in this hotel room. Like literally, I wanted to like call a friend and be like, I'm really scared. Can I sleep with you? Like it was that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, so I said my prayers and I like fell asleep to protection music and I like showed a picture of Jesus on my phone and I laid it on my heart and like, fell asleep with like I was like, oh my gosh. But here's the thing. I was in the shower, I was taking a shower. My son had already fallen asleep and this was such a long day. And I went and showered and I was just like, oh my gosh, like just protect me. Like this is so scary. Like I just want to be safe. I just want to be safe in this hotel room. And I just got this like this calm came over me. Like you are in charge of the fear. The fear is not in charge of you. And it
Mm-hmm.
will only be as bad as like you fear it to be. And I was like, you're right. Like I have the power. I'm the human. I am okay. And so I very confidently turned on my protection music and I very confidently put my picture of Jesus on my heart. And I was like, I will have a good night's rest. And I did, actually did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I woke
Yeah.
up the next morning and was so glad that I was getting out of there. But anyways, was the craziest thing was that I could just like it was just the grossest room, and I just kept like dreaming about. I just like I can't wait to get home to my nice clean house that smells good, and like I
Yeah.
know who all my spirits are that come visit me. They're all great. Like, like I just can't wait to get home to where it's
Yeah.
like familiar and clean.
Yeah.
And so that night I was in my own bed and I was just like, oh, sheets smell good and my house smells good and I'm clean and I'm safe. And I closed my eyes, and there was this woman who I forgot had visited me the 3 nights prior to this trip, and she visited me again that night. And she was like a demon looking woman. She was your very typical ghost like woman. She had this gray hair and yellow glowing eyes. Okay. And, and I saw her and it was like, well, at least she's my demon. And I suddenly, but what's so crazy is that like she literally appeared and then I never saw her again. And she appeared to me like it was like the first night she appeared to me before I went on for of the 3 nights before I went on this trip.
Mhm.
The first night I was like, oh, it's just fear. Meh. And I like, meh.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then the second night I was like, didn't I see her last night?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
because like if I see a random scary thing and then I never see it again, I'm like, eh. And it's
Yeah.
like when you see something like again, you're like, wait a minute, I saw
Yeah.
that last night. So that
Yeah.
must be real because there's no way I would think of that 2 nights in a row. And then when I saw it the third night, I was like, because she would just show for a flash and then she'd be gone. It's not like she talked to me. It's not like she hovered.
Right.
It's not
Right.
like
It
it
was
was
just
like this
quick.
negative energy. It was just like I saw her and her yellow eyes and gray hair were definitely defining characteristics that were very
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
And so then when I saw her the third night, I was kind of like, why is she here? Like, this is really weird, whatever. And then I drifted off to sleep. And then I went on my trip. And like what's weird is that like the feeling that I got from the spirits was that there was like something else that was like negative there that was like
Mhm.
being negative to them. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I really felt like there was something there that did not like that I was going to change the energy of this room.
Yeah.
And isn't that creepy?
Yeah.
And so I survived, thank goodness. But that
Yeah.
is, but anyway, so I told this to Michelle and I told this to all their soccer moms. I was like, you guys would not believe what was in my hotel last night. And they would all be like, Bloody Mary. That reminds me of Bloody Mary. I've never heard Bloody Mary connected to a tampon before, but it's very ironic that as I'm cleansing a room, there's that.
And so because fear is a lower vibration, but think about all those stories and all the fear, kids, adults, movies, all of those things that create, right? That fear creates. And those beings, whether they are a earthbound that has evolved into something because it is disconnected from its whole or from its, you know, um, or whether this is the energy of fear that develops into something, because that happens, right? And so um, that's exactly what it feels like. That's what it feels like. And I've heard it before.
Wait,
Some other
what does
people,
it feel like? It feels
uh,
like
like
fear, or it feels like Bloody Mary?
well, Bloody Mary, to me, that energy feels like fear that has evolved over time. So I'm not identifying it as it feels a little different than an earthbound spirit. This to me feels like fear, like it's got consciousness, right? And it gets bigger and bigger over fear, and it's got a bit of a bullying type energy to it. It's interesting that you say about the yellow eyes and the white hair, because I've had others that have communicated to me things that they would see, including my own children at times. where they would see something similar with yellow eyes. Now, I'll
Mhm.
tell you, now this isn't exactly the same, but my father had an experience one time. This is maybe about 10 years ago. He had this experience, and he he often would get premonitions when somebody would pass. Like he would hear their voice, or he would maybe not know a family member that he hadn't seen in a long time had passed, and he will see them in his bedroom. He'll wake up in the night and see them. This particular night, he it was 2 nights in a row, I believe, he said, and he woke up in the night, and he just kind of he could hear rustling in the bathroom connected to their bedroom there. He could hear some rustling, and it sounded like the drawers were pulling in and out of the vanity. And then he looked, and he saw in the doorway of his bedroom, he could see this, what he called, looked like a witch. It was like a long black looking dress, kind of longer looking hair, and it was floating, and it was just floating. And he was like, when he described the story, it was like touching his eyes, and then he reached his hand over to touch to see if my mom was in bed, thinking maybe it's her, and he's kind of like just not seeing clearly, but she was asleep. She was in bed, and they're on their own. And he watched it back up and disappear, just float and disappear. Now, what's interesting is, so this was 2 nights in a row, I believe he said. I don't think it was three. I think it was two. And right, it was two. And then the third night, he saw a man that looked familiar peeking his head around the corner of his doorway. He would just see you know, and then we found out that weekend about a family member that passed away. And he connected that man and that face because he knew who it was. Now, what's interesting about this is there's an old Irish folklore. Anybody can look up about the banshee,
Yes.
and right,
Yes.
and so I've got a really, my best friend here in town. She's Irish, and we were talking, and I was telling her about this, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like the banshee." And so we were Googling pictures, and the picture was like exactly what he saw. Exactly. And I brought the picture to him, and I said, "Is that what you saw?" And he says, "Yes, that's what I saw." And the banshee wails can be
Yeah.
heard. So this is right before someone passes
Yeah.
or something. And he got word that family had passed that weekend or a couple days afterwards. So it was really like, I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't see that. I wouldn't like to see that. Yeah.
So my dad's always been fascinated by the banshees. So they say, yeah, that the banshees will take your spirit away. But that the wailing sound, they're wondering if the wailing sound that people hear is actually the noise of going through the dimensions. Because when I hear spirits in my house go through the dimensions, it sounds like someone's hit
Yeah.
the ceiling. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's a
Yes.
really big smash or
Yes.
slam.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, it does sound like a screaming, wailing
Yeah.
sound with the
That would
banshee. So
make
I don't
sense.
know. Yeah.
Now,
Isn't that
what's
interesting?
interesting is he said like the feeling he got wasn't fear. It was just like
Mm.
shock of seeing something
Someone
floating
there.
that had no
Yeah.
feet. It was just, you could see it elevated off the ground, or off the floor in the kitchen. And but he said like he didn't feel scared of it. It wasn't like it was doing anything, but it was there to give a message. It's
Wow.
creepy though,
I've never heard
huh?
of the banshees. Honestly, I've never heard of the banshees giving messages. Makes
Mm,
me feel like as the banshee was coming for him, and then like he saw the banshee or something, and so then the banshee went for someone else, is like what it sounds like. That's what makes me feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't tap into any of that. I was just like, okay, well, that's great. That's I'm glad
Yeah,
you weren't scared or anything. And I didn't know anything about that. It wasn't until my friend from Ireland told me about the story. Like
yeah,
I didn't know. And so when we
yeah,
saw the picture and showed him, he's like, yeah, that's what it looked like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so creepy. That is
Yeah.
so creepy.
Mhm.
Well, I had a nightmare the other night that I think was a I think what well there was spirit for sure with it. I think it was this I don't know. You tell me. You tell me
Mm.
what you get.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So, I crossed my legs, sorry.
Okay.
So, I'm having this dream and I am in charge of this woman's body who died, who was
Mhm.
murdered. And I brought her body into my house because I needed to like do some um like blood testing. Like I needed to like swab her blood to like, you know, whatever my detective I was a detective. I
Mhm.
was a detective
Mhm.
in the street.
Mhm.
And I needed to like so I was helping her, right? And it's very interesting actually when you think about it, like detectives solve murders. And I feel like when spirits come to us after they've passed, a lot of times it's to like help. Okay, so anyways, very interesting role I played in this dream. Anyways, so I moved her into the house and then I felt like someone was coming. And so I hid, like I had her kind of like at my entryway. And then I like hid behind a wall. Um, and then when I knew like the coast was clear, I came back out, but her body was gone. Somebody moved her body. And I started to like panic, like who this is where like those dreams, oh my God, and I'm starting to
Mm.
get tingles. Those dreams where I always say this, like I know it's like a traveling dream or something like that when I am really conscious in my dream and like you know what I mean? Like it's not like the
Yeah.
dream's just happening and I'm going along
Yeah.
with it. It's like all of a
Right.
sudden I start to have like true feelings and
Yeah.
thoughts. And so I thought somebody moved this body. That makes me really mad because they're messing with this body. And that is
Mm.
a negative energy that would be trying to scare me and mess with this body. And I found the body and it was in a pile with three other female bodies. And they were all like wrapped in like plastic tarps. And
Hmm.
and this was the first time I actually saw her and I saw her face and she had a very distinct nose. And I was like, why would somebody move her body? And there's three bodies now. And that really freaked me out. And it made me wake up. Like the thought of somebody is messing with me and that's
Mm.
negative energy actually made me wake up out of my dream. And whenever I wake up, I always like check the time and I checked the time. It was 3:33. And I was like, three bodies at 3:33? Like, what are the chances? And then my female side started to like fire up.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Mhm.
oh God, this is real. And so I was still really upset about that negative energy that like moved the bodies. So I was
Mhm.
part like, I know I've got you here and I know that you are a real spirit that showed me your body, but who is the negative thing or the negative person that made me feel really scared in this dream? Because that makes me mad and that's
Mhm.
not good energy.
Mhm.
So I like called in the angels for protection. I put like white light all around me and I did all of that to like get myself feeling really safe and I felt really good. And then, my female side is still firing. And so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you need to go to the light. And I started just talking about going to the light and how, I feel like you're coming to me because you want me to solve your murder, but I don't know what to do. And you'll have more success on the other side, is basically what it
Mhm.
said. Like you'll be able to
Mhm.
do this better from the other side. And then all of a sudden I got this flash of all I saw was white and a woman like sitting in lotus pose. Um, and like, you know, with all that white background, and I was like, okay, I think she went to the light. And then after that, I was like able to go back to sleep. But that really freaked me out. Isn't
Yeah,
that
I bet
crazy?
it did. I bet it did. And it's fascinating because that had a like to have that connection, so not it just being in astral or in the dream time, but to wake up and then continue the communication. So you were connected with in that dream state because that was the easiest way to be able to get your attention. Um, do you have some feelings already to what that might be? Because I do get that that actually was an earthbound spirit that had awareness of other females. And you're absolutely right. I mean, other females that had been, oh, so you know how we talked about a lot going on in the collective right now? This is uh, connected into the collective consciousness of a lot of things that are being unearthed right now, which is, uh, I'll put it as simple as possible. Um, People that have gone missing, things that have happened that have been kind of under wraps, behind closed doors. Um, think of everything again, everything going on in Hollywood, the things that we're seeing. That's the energy, the negative energy that you were feeling. And I'm getting that that's a representation. So the other bodies, the other women is a representation. And this spirit came to you, and there is a personal connection. So I can feel that this was an earthbound spirit that required some help, but there's like a bigger piece to it, which she was showing you that there are many, and that there is an energy that has, it's not like showing one individual, it's like that energy. So there's many individuals connected to that negative energy. This is what's being unearthed right now in our world. And there are many people that have slipped through the cracks over decades and decades and decades of mistreatment, manipulation, very dark things that have happened behind closed doors. And that energy came to you to be directed to the light, but you were very clearly seen, because it's like the negativity. And when you were saying like you were mad, like it was messing with you, moving the bodies, this energy, it's the energy of manipulation. And so however that comes through, it is that doing things behind closed doors. So you see, like, I come back in and the body was moved. I was mad that I was being messed with, messing with my work, messing with what I was doing. So if you relate that to uh, things that are happening in the world, I keep getting behind closed doors, things that are happening, to try and to appear like, um, energy trying to appear like it's something else, but it's that darker energy that we can't see because it's happening when you were looking away, happening when you weren't there. So that's a big signpost to me, seeing that or having you say that in your dream, is that this happened when I wasn't here, right? You get a lot of that collective energy that comes in, like in your dreams and that.
Yeah. I get a lot of people too. Like,
Well, yes, you do get a lot of people.
so that was one night. And then the next night, and it's not always this active, I will say that. And I do feel like it is the Halloween, the thinning of the veil, like it's picked
Mhm.
up in the last
Mhm.
2 weeks since that
Mhm.
full moon. It's
Mm.
really picked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, like I got a girl the other night. It's like I just happened to just like wake up. It's like weird. You just like wake up, and then
Mm-hmm.
there was this girl standing over me, and she looked not well, and
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to sleep, so I was just like, "You just need to go to the light."
Yeah.
Just went back to sleep. Sorry. Um, but yes, but like it seemed, my intuition is still a little tiny seed, and it's growing, where it's like I wouldn't not have associated that energy to the collective. I was really struggling at that moment of like, I know there's a person, I know there's a female, true female like soul
Yes.
with me because I feel them.
Yes.
However, there's this negative male energy that's not defined, that is like I couldn't figure out what it was. You know what I mean? And so you're identifying it as the collective. And for me, I was trying to like, so it's like maybe my mindset isn't going there. And that's why I'm not
Well,
noticing that it's like
look
collective energy.
look at the things that come out. So, um, it's a male energy. So the male energy is connected to, we could call it that patriarch, that heavy energy,
Mm-hmm.
that not divine male energy. It is that heavy, greedy, dark,
Mm-hmm.
doing things behind closed doors for the purpose of, uh, whether it be money or like hurting, creating, wreaking havoc. And that's kind of that old energy that has been resurfacing in so many different ways. But she was showing you that there was an individual, that she was murdered. There was an individual. So, yes, there is an individual, but she was connecting it to a larger energy. So that's why you weren't getting somebody specific, because it's she wasn't focusing so much on the person. She was showing you the big picture to what it's coming from. And that's why there is um I get a lot of healing. Like, it's like in her experience, it would be like that need coming forward to be directed to where I can get help to cross. And because spirit layers everything, because there's many different truths that occur in a situation, there's layers to that experience. So your intuition's not wrong. It's not wrong. It's you were picking up on uh an energy, but not a specific face, or aligning it to that, because there was a bigger piece to it. And so if we think about what's happening in the world, and we could talk about child trafficking and human trafficking, because that's where I feel the connection is directly linked to trafficking. And so, because that energy is being exposed right now in different areas in our world, and I believe we're going to see a lot more in this next year, which needs to happen. That was showing you where it's coming from, and because it's being unearthed. So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to come, especially for those of us that are sensitive and communicating. We're going to receive pieces of that. So anytime you're not getting something direct like that, it's usually because you're not really being given it in that way. So it's not really that your intuition, it's not being wrong at all. It's just hard to put a face when you're not being given that. You're connecting to a negative energy, and it's a male dominated energy. Not to say that it's all males in that energy. It just means that it's that's how it's presenting, right?
That
Yeah.
take
Wow.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so
Taken.
anyways,
Taken. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Wow. That's a
yeah,
lot. That's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yet, when I fill out rating forms, I do say that I get good sleep and I can sleep through the night. I still
Uh,
consider myself a good sleeper.
Yeah, I sleep like a baby. I sleep like a
Yeah.
baby. I get
I mean, I
some
guess
pretty vivid dreams, but I
you
sleep like a
have to,
baby.
right? To like go through that experience. And then literally I fell back asleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally fell back
Yeah.
asleep.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
you could definitely write a book on all the different visits you've had through the nighttime, all the different souls you've connected with, and stories and so many things that have happened. To think about it, way back in the very beginning when we started doing this podcast, do you remember? Um, and I think this is when the war in Ukraine started, or it was around that time. And do you remember who was coming to you at that time?
Yeah.
So think
Yeah.
about that, because there's a connection to what's happening in the world and who's coming to you.
Yeah.
It's all
Well,
those
you've told
layers.
me, yeah, you've told me before that the people that could trafficked come to me.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
okay. I didn't
must,
remember said that. Yeah.
yeah. So there really truly must be some kind of, I don't know what my connection is, but I
Yeah.
just love and support, and I'm a female, and I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah. Could be a
wow.
lot of different reasons. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. But yes, that was definitely the most so one of my very first nighttime wakings, what actually I never fell asleep. They were there right when I was trying to fall asleep. And then I never actually went to sleep because they were so intense. Was the week that um I think it was the first or second week of the Ukraine war. I'm not quite sure,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
exactly in the timeline, but it was definitely at the beginning. And that was when I was opening up. And I had this unbelievable experience where, as I was falling asleep, there was a man at the end of my bed. And and I like could see him, and I was like, what are you doing here, and he flashed himself, and he was in like a burning building. He was like laying on the floor in a burning building, and I was like, oh, he's dead. Like he's that's actually like, and I think we might have talked about this before, like, was he dead or was he dying? Like what? Because I
Hmm.
truly feel like I helped transition him. And I guess once you're dead, there is no time. So he could have legit been
Hmm.
dead. But anyways, so he showed me, and he had died, and his hair was like charred and or dying, I don't know, but his body was in this burning building. And and I kind of was like, what do you need, and or maybe I told him to go to the light. I don't remember. And he said, "Can I hold your hand?" And I just remember thinking like, what? Like I've I I don't know. I was just so like, this is so new to me, like the things that people say, like you just don't ever like think about the things that you would say or think once you die. And so he said, "Can I hold your hand?" And before I could even say yes, I felt this heat wash upon my hand. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, like he's holding my hand. And
Yeah.
then I also like, and I could just feel how close the heat was to the rest of my body. And I just remember thinking like, I just like, I felt so much compassion for him because like, obviously like when someone asks to hold your hand, they're scared. And so I knew that he was scared and
Hmm.
not like harmful or hurtful or whatever. But just
Yeah.
like when I had that other dream of the angel and I felt the heat, like when I felt his heat, it really kind of scared me because it was so intense. And like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like how long is this going to last? Like, what's next? Like it just kind of freaked me. I've never had this happen before. I've never felt the heat of a spirit before. There was just
Yeah.
so many emotions going
Yeah.
through my mind, and
Yeah.
I was scared, but yet not scared in a weird way.
Yeah.
And And so I said, you know, you need to go to the light. And I was talking to him, and he like eventually went to the light.
Yeah.
Um, and that experience has like, and did profoundly change me, because
Yeah.
I just never knew that, you know, spirits could be like that. But then the second he went, the next spirit appeared. And and it was a soldier that that I don't think knew that he died. And he was pacing back and forth in my
Mm,
house, and I could hear him go from the windows across and all the way. We have carpet in our bedroom, out to in the hallway. We have wood floors out, and I could
mhm.
hear him creak on the wood floors. I could hear him go out. Our bedrooms on the first floor, so I could hear him go out into the living room, and I could hear him come back in. And it was like he had this like little path that he was doing, like he was patrolling, like he was looking
Yeah.
from window to
Right.
window, window to window. And it's like I
Yeah.
knew exactly what he was doing. He was patrolling,
Yep.
like he didn't know
Yep.
he was dead, and he was stuck in that like panic.
Yeah.
They say that spirits get stuck in that energy, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And I just tried talking to him and talking to him and talking to him, and all I could do at this point was hear him and
Yeah.
feel the energy, feel like that anxious energy.
Yep.
And I said, you know, like, can you please show yourself to me? And all I saw was like a pile of rubble. And so
Mhm.
at first I thought, "Hey, he's not listening to me. I asked him to show himself, and he's showing a pile of rubble." And it wasn't until like the next day that I realized that he was probably in the pile of rubble. And
Yeah.
anyway, so he was pacing and pacing and pacing and pacing and pacing. And I just kept trying to tell him, I was like, I'm so sorry that you died. Like this, you need to go to the light. Like this, like you don't need to worry about the war anymore. Like, and I just had to keep like saying these things over and over and over again, and think about your family, and your family's going to want to see. Oh, wait, no. At first, that's what it was. At first, I was just like, the war's over. Like you've died. You need to go to the light. It'll be
Yep.
better there. Like I was kind of giving him that. The second I said, think about your family, I heard that smack against the
Yeah.
ceiling, like we talked
That
about, like
got
with the banshees,
that
how
got him. Yeah.
yep. It was like the second I said the word family.
Yep.
And this smack was so loud. It literally sounded like someone took like a huge chest or like a dresser or something and just like threw it to the ceiling. Like it was so incredibly loud.
And you're the only
And
one that heard it. You're the only one that heard it. That's
my husband, like I tell him this, and I really couldn't sleep the whole night. There was a third one too. I couldn't sleep the entire night because the first one was just so emotional, like, and I
yeah.
just kept thinking about it.
Yeah.
And the second one was just so like I had to be assertive, and like it was just so weird how I had to
Mhm.
change my personality for
Mhm.
each spirit.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
anyway, so I'm telling my husband this story the next day, and he goes, did I do anything? Like where? And I was like, no, you slept through it all. Like you did nothing. You were sound asleep. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's so interesting how that happens.
It really is. It's fascinating. It is fascinating, and um it was really intense because that those experiences were really to help you strengthen that foundation, because so much was coming in at that time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and now they're um more refined, like you've got a flow to it, more of that, more of a pattern, although they still come. But if you were to, have you been able, we haven't talked about this in a while, and this just popped in my head. So, um, like they don't seem to inundate you the same. So your boundaries are definitely a lot stronger. And that is, do you find on a day-to-day basis, like, do they come to you every night, or is it just once in a while? Like, how do you experience it now?
Well, I mean, I don't have like the woman that was murdered the other day, and
Yeah.
the like I don't get ones that are like that intense very often, but I
Mm-hmm.
do get like where I woke up in the middle of the night and there's a girl standing over me,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
she looked, honestly, she looked like maybe she like drowned or something. Like she
Mm.
just looked, um gray.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain her,
Yeah.
but definitely not, she did not look like she'd crossed. And so I get that a lot. And I think my emotional boundaries are different, right? Because
Yeah.
I think like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, come here, let me see, let me feel you, let me search into your life. Like, I don't do that. I
Yeah.
just go,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sleeping, go to the light.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my emotional boundaries, I guess, are different, which makes the experiences less intense or
Yes.
less complete, less deep. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
'cause even the girl, like, uh, the only reason why I was invested in her was because she was part of this dream,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and then I had that energy where I felt like I needed to protect myself.
Yes.
And then I started feeling her and I was like, oh gosh, so if she was a real part of this dream, I need to send her to the light. You know what I mean? So I don't get it too often, but I do get people a lot.
Yeah.
Like for instance, um, yesterday morning, just before my alarm, maybe like 10 minutes before my alarm went off, I I kind of woke up. It's like, it's weird. I just kind of suddenly wake
Mhm.
and then I flash. So I'm definitely like perfect theta stage and or theta state. And
Mhm.
there was this woman who was laying on her kitchen floor, like she had just
Mhm.
fallen on her kitchen floor. And I don't know. I saw her, but I know she's real because my whole female side just started
Yeah.
firing up. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know why you're here, but thanks for waking me up because I got to get up in 10 minutes anyways.
Yep.
And she was really firing and I'm like, I know you're really firing. I don't know. I don't explore.
Yeah. Well, you don't always have to. Really, like our guides are present. Um, Sometimes, like I don't have it like you. That doesn't happen to me in the same way. I don't very like a lot of the things that I get at nighttime are very personal. Like it's like visits or information that's going to help me with my family or family members in spirit. I get a lot more of that. Occasionally I'll get something or I'll get visits from spirits that are coming to sessions, but that happens more during the day, like prior to it. So maybe an hour before when I'm in the washroom or washing my hands, and I'll feel somebody come in and start to get a little bit of information about who they are and what's happening, but not like that. Um, I want to ask you another question. It just popped in my head.
Okay.
When a spirit is coming in and say you're kind of in that state, your eyes are closed, or even when your eyes are open, do you get white flickers? I heard you say flashing. Now, do you get like a flickering?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have to come to me in two different ways for me to acknowledge that they're real. If they
Yeah.
don't, if I just close my eyes and I see someone, I'll be like, I'm like, okay, I don't know, that could be my imagination. I don't know. But if I close my eyes, I see someone and then I feel something, I know that that was
Yes.
connected and
Yes.
and they're real.
Yeah.
Or, or yes, I see someone and then I see the flash. Then I know they're real because that was two
Yes.
different ways that they showed themselves. So they
Well,
have
that's
to show
interesting.
themselves
Yeah.
in two
Mhm.
different ways for
Yeah.
me to um pay attention or like give it validity.
And that is
So
how I that was my defining in the beginning was the white flickers. So I knew
yeah,
spirit was stepping in because I get the white flickers, and sometimes it would, if it was happening when I was kind of in that sleep state, it'd be like flash, 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 and then they're there. And then when I'm awake, I'll get the flickers in the side of my eyes, like I can see the flickers, but the feeling, it's a feeling. So I always know, like I'm getting a feeling or I'm getting a flicker. Sometimes I'll get both. I don't know why, one spirit is all feeling and another one's very visual. Like I never
yeah.
know how it's going to be. But it's
Yeah.
interesting. It's interesting that you said that because I was getting that flicker when you were saying that, and I'm like, oh, you get that. You get that too.
Yep.
So I find it
Yep.
fascinating to kind of like see how we all have these different ways or what's the defining, you know, and that's a good note too, and we'll pull a card for the week as well. But that's a good note to for anybody that's kind of like trying to discern, like, is this real? Ask for that confirmation. Like, tell them, say, I need to feel you, or like a sensation or something. Go ahead and put that out there as something defining to tell your guides and to tell spirit, like, for me to discern this, help me, let me feel you, let me see you or see the flickers or whatever you have been able to identify as your experiences, so that, you know, because I know that for some it's very challenging to in that discernment stage. For all of us, we go through that discernment stage to really, like, okay, is this my imagination? Because I didn't know for majority of my life. I thought it was my imagination most of the time, you know, and kept a lot of those things to myself, but I had a knowing, but it didn't go past that. So it really helps once you start asking and identifying, and your belief system says, yes, I know that's what it is. I know this is what
Mm-hmm.
you are. And then that strengthens your muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So that's interesting. Well, thank you for all those stories. That was,
I have
your,
a wealth of scary stories.
yes, yes. Your hotel story. I mean, I've heard it before, but it cracks me up. I think it's halfway by how you tell it.
Me and the guy. Me and the guy
Oh,
definitely PTSD from it. I forget his name, poor guy.
so funny. Okay.
And let me tell you, the solution to that story is I said, I do not want to sleep in this hotel room for literally, it was like not that much off. I'm like, really? And he was like, you can come talk to the manager. She will rectify this in the morning. And I was like, okay. So the manager comes in the morning and she's like, all I can do is give you like that little bit off, but you should have slept in that room for free. That's just, I am so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I'm reaching out to my general manager. Okay. She's like, send an email with that picture to the general manager too, so you can get, you know, um, the room comped. I was like, okay, thank you. She's like, I'm sure it will happen. Like, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
General manager never reached back out. So then she was like, and maybe the general manager said something to her. She's like, can I talk to you outside? And I was like, sure. So it's like all surveillance, she wanted to like give me she's like, if this doesn't get taken care of, you need to go all the way up to the hotel chain and you need to talk to the parent company to get this taken care of and resolved. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I felt like really good, like leaving there, that this situation was going
yeah.
to be taken care of.
Yeah.
The parent company was like, oh, looks like you got a little discount, so all is good. And I'm like, you guys don't even know. I literally have PTSD from this. But whatever. I'm home and I'm safe. So that's what matters. But I will say, I was thinking when you were talking about that too, like synchronicities too. Like, the next day after that one dream with the girl in the tarp, the next day I saw a girl standing in line with the exact same nose. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think that's a sign. And then for that room, I think that it's so interesting that, like, since that hotel experience, the things that I have been doubting are like, maybe it was there the whole time. Maybe it didn't just appear. Like, that's really hard to do. Things don't just like disappear and appear, like the batteries disappear. I don't know. I can't explain the batteries, but like maybe the thing was there the whole time and I just didn't see it, even though I like stepped right there every single time I went under the bed. But the fact that Julie made your cards disappear and appear, like, to me, that's that synchronicity. Like, no,
Yeah.
that, I can't even say the word. Like, I get that much trauma from it. The fact that the fact that that thing was,
Yeah.
or, whatever connection, it manifested.
Yeah,
What do you,
you would have. Oh, yes, definitely. And that's exactly what Julie was showing. And I like when I tell you I searched, like, it can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like when I tell you I searched for those cards and I'm like, when Maya said, like, Mom, just leave it, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. There's a reason. There's definitely a reason. And then to see them literally before we started, I just got that,
Yeah.
like, open the drawer. And I wouldn't have thought because I've already been in the drawer, and why would they be in there in the first place? Like I don't ever keep cards there, and just to open it and see them right on top of what I just touched, you can't make that up. You just can't. So I pulled from the
Okay.
famous Manifestation Missing deck. I pulled it, and I actually pulled two because when I pulled one, I heard to pull another, so I did.
Okay.
And so the cards that came out are love and partnership and health. And so,
Mhm.
yes.
Interesting.
So now when we look at these two cards, what always draws me with this deck and why I love it so much is the colors. So the throat chakra and the sacral chakra. And so this has to do with, and let's take the idea out that this needs to be a romantic relationship or your significant other, although it could be for anybody that's looking at this. Think about a love partnership, relationships, and that is a really, really big theme with the moon cycles that we've had as well. There is such a big theme connected to our relationships and how they're evolving. And sometimes these relationships are evolving to a place where they're going in different directions. And for many of us, our relationships are coming to a new place or a new level. The thing is not that path, and I say this from a personal place, that path is not always easy. The difficulties and the challenges that we go through are part of it because it allows us to have these different perspectives. You know, we have challenges that come up and they're, again, not there to hurt us, but there to help show us something. So whatever you're experiencing, whether it's a relationship at work, a friendship, a love partnership, a parent, a sibling, you know, in whatever way this comes forward in your life, this is to tell you that there is healing that's happening in your connections, in your relationships. And that's why the health card has come forward as well, because the sacral chakra being connected to partnerships, this is part of our health, our overall, because everything emotional. And that is something that we know as a society we've not been brought up to care about our emotions or to think or believe that they lead so much in our life. But our emotions and what we either are paying so much attention to or not enough attention to affects our overall health of our physical body, our mental health, our energy, how we relate to ourselves in the world. And so, you know, when you see this card talking about your relationships, really look at it from the bigger perspective and how it affects absolutely everything, because there are many opportunities taking place right now that are there to help us heal, there to help our relationships heal. And many of us are coming out of a state of hibernation where we may have been uh, pulled away or felt the need to pull away from people to realign ourselves, to reassess ourselves, to see where we're going. And that doesn't mean that we have always physical separation. It can mean that, you know, maybe a relationship has gone through a stage where there's not as much closeness, and that's having an opportunity to come back again. Because relationships are the one thing that there's the first chakra. Relationships are the one thing that it is ever changing. And so I will speak from a marriage perspective in my own relationship and how we meet each other in new places all the time. and the experiences that we've been through together, along with our own healing, our own circumstances, we meet back up in new places to heal and to be able to have a deeper understanding for each other. And that's not always easy to do, it's not, but the relationship, of course, now always say the relationship with ourselves, really understanding ourselves so that we can bring ourselves into a partnership, into a friendship, a relationship, in whatever way that looks for you. We can show up as the best version of ourselves, because when we can show up in unconditional love, no matter where that relationship is going, whether it means it's going in separation physically or it's elevating to a new place, being able to show up in an unconditional love is being able to say, I allow you to be where you're at. I am where I am. I allow to be where you're at. How can we come together in a place where we're in unification, no matter what direction we're going? How can we keep coming together in that way, in the healthiest way? Because healthy relationships was not a course that we took in school. How to have healthy relationships. And unless we were thrown into being taught, many of us learned about relationships from witnessing as children the relationships of the adults around us. And so that's why these things are so important, because many of us are reparenting ourselves. Many of us are learning how to have healthy connections and may have had growing up in many years of unhealthy relationships. So if you're watching this and you're going through this right now, know that you are divinely supported to continue to show up as the best version of you and have healthy relationships.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for putting us in a good place, as always, Michelle. You
Into a
always
little
do
red
that.
rounds.
Yes. You're putting a
Yeah.
spell on us.
Yes.
A little
Yes.
happy spell. I
Yes.
love it.
Love
Making that
spells.
energy
Love
right.
spells.
The
Yes. I'm
love
pumping
spell.
that out to everybody. So this is a
Yes.
long one today. So thanks, guys. If you made it to the end of this, thank you so much. Thank you for watching and
Yes.
spending our
Yes.
Halloween episode together.
Yes, we love sharing. At least I love sharing my stories, because I'm like, cannot believe this is happening. Cannot
Yes.
believe this is real life.
It's awesome.
Well, thank you, Michelle, so much once
Thank
again. Thank
you.
you, everyone. We hope you have a very, very, very happy and safe and
Yes.
spooky Halloween.
Same to you
Enjoy
guys.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
We will see you all next week.
See you next time, everybody. Bye.